Hey, 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 I'm Mike Gannotti, and
I'm Tyrelle Barnes. Welcome to MidDay Café.
so Tyrelle. It's been a while. We had a
I
big break.
had a
What the
big
heck are we going to
break.
talk about? Is there anything to talk about?
Mike, it's all Copilot. Copilot Pro. Where have you been? We just announced
Copilot.
Copilot Pro this
I,
week.
I was under a rock.
You were presenting Copilot.
I was. Um, yeah, I mean, Copilot. So those announcements came out this week. That I think there's some real. I mean, we were talking about before we started, and I think there's some great content that people I think would really benefit from. So we want to go through that then.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I shared the wrong screen. So let's unshare and reshare. Here we go.
Was that a
There
solar
we
eclipse?
do what?
Was that a solar eclipse that you had on your screen? Your
Oh,
screensaver?
that was a standard, actually one of the standard Windows 11 backgrounds.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
the solar eclipse is coming in April.
and that's true. But this is since I have three screens, it's a different color shading in each one of them
Oh,
automatically.
okay.
Kind of
That's
neat.
cool.
So it differentiates between my screens. So yeah, bringing the full power of Copilot. So you mentioned the first thing, and we'll provide this link, but what's that first piece of big news that people should?
Well, everybody can get Copilot Pro for themselves now. Like, Mike, it's $20 a month and it's your own personal instance of Copilot Pro. And it has all the security trimming in place so that it's private to you and protects your data, but gives you access to like this huge amount of capabilities of like you can have it when Copilot at work. So it's really cool. I actually have been using it already. I'm on a board, and I had to use it to help rewrite a document that a peer had sent me. And he was like, yeah, this is really rough. I've tried to put a draft together. You'll know why I'm not a writer. I'm an accountant, but here you go. And please edit. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take each paragraph and put it in Copilot and get it, and it came out all articulate, sounded really great,
Mm-hmm.
and it took me probably 15 minutes altogether, which is it would have taken me probably an hour and a half to do that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. So love to hear more about how people can start using this, and we should maybe talk about some other use cases.
Yeah. I mean, I was super excited because number one, I can't count the number of times I'm on calls with orgs that are looking at Copilot, thinking about it. Maybe they got and rolled it out, but they're like, I want this for me at home. And I need to leverage the power of this. And so, what it does is, and I'll just quickly highlight, and I'm a subscriber to this. So it talks about it brings the capability to Microsoft 365 personal and family subscribers, right? So, like for example, I have the family subscription. And so for that $20 a month, you can then add Copilot, which gives a whole bunch of stuff. And for like the scenario you're talking about, or let's say you're a developer, right? Writing your own code, freelance. It'll do that. It'll help you with code writing. That's built into
Wow.
it. There is a bunch of stuff here, and it talks about like some of the things. So, number one, it says single AI experience across all your devices. So, like your iPhone, your
So
Android,
it's on
your
mobile
PC,
too, right?
yeah,
Wow.
your Mac. I mean, whatever the case is, you're going to get it. You're going to get Copilot in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote. Um, with those, because you have those for those subscriptions, you're going to get it just like you get it built in the enterprise. but for your own personal usage. Then you're going to get it in Designer, which is our new thing. If you're doing social media, if you're in marketing, small marketing firm, etc., you can leverage its power, and you can leverage it for doing, original image creation at scale. I think up to 100 times a day.
Wow.
It's like crazy. And there's something else, because this is where I got really excited. So number one, they're going to give access to the latest models. So like right now, getting Chat GPT-4 Turbo, which takes like if you want to reference in PowerPoint a large doc. Today, GPT-4, awesome. I show using a 45-page doc, but that's about the cap of it. They'll be able to today in that go out and reference a 300-page doc.
Wow, in Copilot Pro?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers, and they have like their own shop, and a lot of what they do is create documents or have to review these big, huge documents. And that would save, that would make their job like so much easier. And it would just, they could scale themselves without having to hire all the extra people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it goes one step further. So you're going to get all the latest, but they took it one step further. They're talking about building Copilot GPT, like we talk about Chat GPT, or excuse me, OpenAI GPT-4 and DALL-E and all these large language models, right? The problem with them is they're not optimized for particular industries. So with the announcement, we also announced Copilot GPT Builder, which is going to let you take like a baseline model and customize it for what you do. So lawyers, I don't care about the food industry, this or that, all this other stuff out there on the internet. I care about legal data. I care about the following. So you're going to be able to build your own custom instances particular to what you do and work. It could be anything from a influencer who writes blogs to legal to small marketing groups, whatever.
Wow, this is just mind blowing. All the things that you can do now as one person with this technology. It's so powerful.
Super powerful.
That is, wow.
And a couple of people have asked me, with this Pro, well, how does that compare to? I can do a subscription directly to OpenAI, and because of our tight working relationship with them, you get everything that you would get in that subscription, plus, so all that Office. All the
being able to create the PowerPoints and the Word documents and leveraging all of that. Now you could do that with
which
Copilot
they don't
Pro.
do, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's actually a published matrix. I'll provide that in the resource links.
Okay.
That shows you the difference. And so it's like getting all the goodness of that that subscription directly, but with more for less.
And customized to you. And you can start building bots for yourself, for your own use cases, for your work. Or your volunteer, boards or anything that you do. Your kids, like if you're managing their teams for their, sports, or if you're on the, PTA or, oh, wow, this is so, I'm just blown away. How exciting.
The sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
If you have to do production, any kind of content, visualizing data, right? You mentioned sports. Hey, I got a spreadsheet of all the kids' stats. Boom. We've shown that kind of demo where it's in a couple of seconds. Maybe we should do our next session, do some demos.
Oh yeah, let's do that. That'll be great. We'll come up with a couple of cool uses and demo it next week.
Yeah.
Or the week after.
Including, I would love to show Designer, because it does so much that people are not aware of. and they have access to it.
Yeah, maybe you can show me. I have an Airbnb. Maybe you can show me how to
Oh,
create some more social media posts for my Instagram, because I
yes.
have an Instagram for it. Oh,
Yes,
cool.
they
Okay,
absolutely,
good. I'm
they
gonna get
actually
some.
have
My
templates
G
for
help.
that.
You have what?
Cool. So that's pro.
Okay,
But
awesome.
the goodness only started there. And yeah, like you said, $20 per person per month. So next is 365 for business. This, I don't know, you want to speak to it first about one of the big things we did on the minimum?
Well, yeah. So we had a 300 seat minimum, purchase minimum for Copilot. We removed that. So now you can buy Copilot for your business if you have 10 people and you want
Yep.
them to have Copilot. So that's huge. We also changed the commercials so you can have different types of agreements or licenses in place that and now have Copilot. So yeah, why don't you share more detail, Mike?
Yeah, that, I mean, when you just said that, got me excited. So, yeah, excuse me. Small business, because like you mentioned, 10, right? So if you have small 365 business premium or standard, you can now get Copilot, full Copilot for your business, right? And be able to license those people who it makes sense for or for everybody. But you can get between 1 to 299 licenses for a small business like that at $30 per person per month. Pull it in, start leveraging that today. We've also announced for education, so EDU, faculty and the faculty and staff, not students yet, but faculty and staff who are doing production and stuff, they can start to take advantage of it for the work that they're doing.
That's awesome.
And I saw there's another piece around commercial customers now being able to purchase Copilot for 365 through cloud solution provider partners as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, because there's a lot of smaller customers that have a cloud
Yeah.
solution partner instance.
Yep.
So great.
So yeah, so we've kind of like opened the floodgates. They even talk here, which kind of made me happy about, some of the Fortune 100 companies who were a part of that early access, including one of our customers, Pfizer.
One of our favorite customers. Yeah.
We talked all the time, and a whole bunch of other big names like Visa, BP, Honda, Accenture, KPMG, etc. But now everybody can play in this space, not
That's
just
huge win. That's awesome.
huge. The new features, I already talked quickly about GPTs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't emphasize, we're in healthcare. Well, you go beyond healthcare and life sciences. I'm in healthcare and life sciences, and being able to do those kind of Copilot GPTs where you really optimize one for specific uses, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Yeah. The Copilot bots. You want to give it an example, Mike, of
well, yeah, I mean, so let's say I've seen some examples where we do use cases for clinicians, and we've talked about using SBAR reports, and you can do that today right out of Word. Create an SBAR, change something into an SBAR report. But what if you could do additional activities, around different visitations and things of that? I have a group of nurses. They're part of a in-home hospice care network, right? And a couple of years ago, they got very excited. I showed them how to take what they were doing as a paper to email to pulling it all together and then rekeying all of that into a daily report, where they could have a OneNote that it was a template. They go on, they key it in once, and it shows from each of the shifts, and then they go boom to the next, and they have ready access going in. They have automatic access to the last, so you don't have the lengthy handoffs, all that kind of stuff, right? That was just OneNote. But now you start to say, okay, I want to create an optimized GPT, that back-end large language model for these hospice nurses, so that as they're pulling data and formatting and need to write stuff up, they can just give a simple prompt, observe the following, which we would recommend, and then have it optimized for recommendations based upon their organizational needs and things that are standardized for them to do. So it spits out responses that their org expects, not just pulling a bunch. That's the kind of thing that, to me, starts getting really exciting.
God, you know what I love about that? Like, I'm kind of a little bit of a natural bossy person. It's like I can boss it around, and I don't have to be like, I don't have to take the time to be like, oh, how are you doing? What's going on? And then tell them what I want them to do. I can just say, do this, spit out this report, and boom, it's there.
And it's something, again, going back before this week and before that announcement, people would ask me all the time, well, can't we optimize and customize for this so that when they're doing a Word report, it'll, a Word document, it'll provide this kind of pull and optimization around the data it's rendering together and pushing. And I'd be like, well, no, you kind of got to go into Power Apps and build a bot, blah, 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 for that today.
Now you
Here we
can.
go.
Now you don't have to go into Power Apps and build a bot.
But you still can for other things.
If you want to, right. Or if you need to for something else.
Mobile. So we talked about mobile. So the Copilot app, and you were mentioning today, you have it on your...
Yeah, I have it on my phone. And so if you get Copilot Pro, you mentioned that then it would show up in that app, right? That Pro version.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to light up
Nice.
across the board. And then also, but for the enterprise space, as you want to start to push stuff out, we have the Copilot mobile app. Includes access to GPT-4, DALL-E for image generation right from here, again, spitting it out. And then the Copilot in the 365 mobile app, which is big because now we're talking pure enterprise focus, but getting access to Copilot.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Wow. The engineers have been working really hard.
They have. And I think this speaks to something. I know you speak to this, I speak to that, but we talk about, hey, this is all still very early. Some people have like great ideas, right? Like, I'd like to optimize my Copilots. Well, you can't. Well, now you can't. But we talk about, look, this is early, but it's a journey. And we are focused, dead center. This is priority one for Microsoft, and things are coming very quickly. So, things that we thought, well, that might be next year. Heck, it came this week.
Right. I know. And it's surprising us here at Microsoft because it's moving so fast. But the value's there, and the faster we can all learn to start to take advantage of it and change the way we work. That's what I'm finding. I'm trying to challenge myself to adopt these new ways of working.
Yeah.
Because it's so much faster. And I mean, it just going out and even talking to you and having this podcast helps me kind of be up to speed on the new capabilities that are changing so fast. And whereas something I was doing last week a different way, I can do this week in like half the time or a quarter of the time. And just being able to continually adopt these new ways to work is where I think everybody is starting to think about and focus, or needs to.
You nailed it on the head. It's challenging yourself because, let's face it, we're all comfortable with status quo, right? It's always easy. It's how we've always done it. Oh, that's nice. But here's the thing. In an ever competing world, especially you and I were speaking earlier about, fiscal constraints that organizations are experiencing. They're going to look to who's the most productive, who are people that are able. And so in this new world with AI, again, it's not replacing you, but it's affording you the opportunity to learn how to create good prompts, right? We call it prompt engineering. To learn how to challenge yourself to make this a part of your in the daily flow work, So you do much more, which means you raise in your elevation and visibility as somebody who gets stuff done.
And you like, yeah, you multiply your productivity, and it's kind of painless, because it's some of the things that were sucking or such big time sucks that I kind of dread. Those are the things that it does.
Yeah.
Which is like writing a report or rewriting something or editing something. Oh, wow. I mean,
you nailed one. This was a recent experience. So real world, I had a C-level exec who said, look, I struggle with, my staff struggles with, we often have to do presentations, not only internally, but to investors and others.
Mhm.
And, it was that whole PowerPoint creation piece. So I showed them, I downloaded for their case, their annual report, PDF, opened it in Microsoft Word, saved as a Word doc, dropped it into my OneDrive. So now I had a 245-page report in my OneDrive. Internally, we're getting ready, and we publicly announced this, so I'm not, that Chat GPT for Turbo will be coming to all enterprises fairly soon. We have access to it in Word right now internally. Mm-hmm. But I opened that up in Word and I said, summarize this report. It gave me, and then I said, add more detail. So it gave me a very detailed summarization of the report, which I was able to then save as Word. And then point PowerPoint at it, created a PowerPoint that presented all the salient points of this report and the whole process end to end under 5 minutes.
Wow. Just think how many interns' time you saved.
Right? I mean, people could be working on real tasks, other things, and it does. I showed another group, and it be the last thing I talk about with this, but you were mentioning like law offices and stuff. Mm-hmm. This was around legal, and it was an internal legal group, and they said, can you put a prompt? And we opened up Word, and they gave me a prompt, asking for information about, and it had to do with compliance and legal restrictions, blah, blah. I forget what it was, but it spit out a Word doc based off of our docs out of our LCA legal group that are public, that I have access to. And they were like, what? I was like, you know how much time we spend doing this kind of stuff on a repetitive basis daily? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll post this up. Our next one, we'll record next week, but we'll post it in our every other week cycle. Okay. And we'll do some demos because you're going to be gone, right?
Yep. I'm going to be working from another location.
Nice.
Yeah. And you're going to be gone too.
Yes. And so we'll be
working remotely just like we do.
But the beauty of all this is, again, it's all in the cloud, so we can record, post, have it ready. So until next time, Mike Gannotti.
I'm Tyrelle Barnes.
And thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.